Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you notice, I changed the name of it. I'm not a doctor or a medical professional or a nutritionist or anything like that, or an allergist. So this is just basically a blog, right? So instead of, I think allergy living made easier was too much pressure. So this is my blog. This is my life. Yes, I've been dealing with this, with living with allergies for 10 years. And hopefully I can share some things or give you some experiences about my life and how I deal with certain things that can help you or encourage you in some way, shape, or form. But in no capacity am I eligible or qualified to give you any type of medical advice or tell you what to do as it pertains to your allergies. So I changed that. So it's just Allergy Living Blog. Allergy Living Blog is what I changed the name to. So, but I'm still me. I'm still Steen, and I'm still here. And I promise, like I said, even though I'm struggling with this iPhone situation, I know YouTubers and bloggers, they use their phones, even Androids and iPhones, to capture content. For me, it's a struggle because the angles are weird. Let me apologize up front. This is not going to be like the highest video quality right now, but stay tuned. It'll change. At any rate, happy Christmas, New Year, right? It's the time between Christmas and New Year where it still feels like Christmas, but we're getting ready for the end of the year. So you really don't know how to greet people. So I just say, happy Merry Christmas, New Year to you. Today I want to kind of talk about my emergency bag. And this is kind of like a weird time. Well, not weird, but a new time for me. I usually don't go out, and this is the weekend before New Year's is when, everyone has brunches and events and parties getting ready to, just kind of close out the current year and bring in the new year. And usually I don't go. I don't go. Honestly, since I have been diagnosed with food allergies, I stopped going to a lot of parties only because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was a little afraid, right? And I didn't want to mess up anybody's good time. When you're partying for the New Year's, everybody's drinking and they have a cocktail and, everyone's having fun and you don't want to ruin it with a trip to the emergency room. That's my mentality. That's how I thought for a long time. But recently, it kind of changed. That has changed a lot, especially since I've been working from home. I've been working from home since the pandemic started, like 2019. And while it does have its perks, it also has its hindrances and its issues. A lot of times you're just in the house all the daggone time and you get antsy. I have changed the furniture in my house probably 50 times. And seriously, this year, because I'm tired. You're looking at the same thing all the time, every day. So, it does get a little monotonous and it can get a little lonely sometimes. So, yeah, recently it's really been getting to me this year. So we're going on what, 5 years working from home. So, it's kind of getting to me. So I'm being a little bit more adventurous as it pertains to going out of the house. Um, I've done a lot this year. So I'm proud of myself for doing it. And I'm looking forward to doing more of it in 2025. I really want to travel more. I want to experience more things. So, yeah. Been invited to a couple parties this weekend. Just not big parties, just little homey parties. One is a brunch, and I'm excited about going. So, I want to get ready for that. And one of the things that helps me to get ready to go out, and this is something I've really been, you know, paying attention to this year, is getting my emergency bag ready. Before I get into that, let me just say, before I go anywhere, of course I have my emergency bag, but I don't go anywhere by myself, number one, especially if it's in like a new restaurant or any type of event where food is going to be involved. I do not go by myself. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I only go with people that know my allergies, number one, that know how my different allergies affect me and know how to use an EpiPen. Now, they didn't just, automatically know these things because I, became allergic to certain foods. No, I actually spent time and educated them. And that's not something that I did initially off the bat. When I first was diagnosed with food allergies after the shock and everything of it, and yeah, there was some shock. Um, the biggest shock was being a black woman and being allergic to chicken. Yeah, that's a shock. And pork. So I can't have my mama's fried chicken and her barbecue ribs no more. That's what you're telling me? Yeah, it was a shock. I can't have my allergic to wheat and dairy. You mean I can't have my Aunt Marlene's macaroni and cheese no more? Yeah, it was a shock. I can't have my greens. What? With the neck bones or so it was a shock. It was a shock. So while I was dealing with those emotions and going through that whole situation, at the same time, I didn't want my friends and my family to feel as though my condition was a hindrance to them. Or, I didn't want them to feel as though they couldn't eat those things around me or they couldn't have those things, right? So I kind of kept everything close to the vest, if I'm saying this correctly, if I'm, articulating this right. Um, yeah, I just kind of like, this is my problem. I'm gonna deal with it. I'll make sure I'm okay. And while it made sense in my head at the time, it was probably the worst thing I ever did because um, in the event of me having a reaction or a situation happen, um, my friends and my family couldn't help me because they didn't know what I was allergic to. They knew what I was allergic to. They didn't know how I reacted. They didn't know how to help me. And there were instances where I had a reaction around family members and they were helpless. And once I started to educate them and I realized that I need them, right? I need them to help me in this. This is not a journey you can have alone. Let me just say that. You can't. You can't. You have to be your biggest advocate, but you also have to create advocates for yourself. And the best way to do that is to educate people. So I told everyone, number one, what my allergies were. And not only did I tell them, but I gave them a list of what my allergies are. And as that situation changes, I update that list for them. That's number one. Number two, I explain to them exactly how allergies work to the best of my knowledge, right? Everyone's familiar with anaphylaxis and, because it's commonly known. And some people think that if you don't have an anaphylactic reaction to something, then that means you don't have a food allergy, right? And before I started educating people, I remember I was at a friend's house and she gave me something and it had dairy in it. And dairy is one of those things, whereas when I ingest it, I get really bad stomach pains, but I also get joint pains in my hands and my feet swell. And sometimes I get a headache. It depends on how much I come in contact with. But it is really a painful reaction. I also get osteitis or itchy ears. So I'm sitting there, I'm having a reaction and I'm in pain. And, I take some pain medication and I actually literally had to lay down because I wasn't feeling good at all. And once I started to feel better, the first thing she said to me, she said, I don't think you have an allergy. I think you have, I just think you need to get your gut health together. Now, I have been diagnosed by a doctor from an immunologist. I actually have my whole printout from my allergy test. And, I'm saying that not to shame her, but just to let you know, if someone has come to you with that, They see that you have a specific allergy, especially if it's a gastrointestinal issue from an allergy, or they see you have some pain, and it doesn't look like anaphylaxis, right? And the first thing they say to you is, "Oh, you need to get your gut health together," and they recommend probiotics and kefir and kombucha and all that stuff like that. You're not the only one. Okay. I've had that conversation more than once. And while I'm not shading probiotics and kombucha and, all of those things, because your gut health is important, right? It is important. However, it does not take away your food allergies. Okay. Taking probiotics is not going to take away your tree nut allergy. It's not going to take away your nightshade allergy or your wheat allergy. It's not going to cure your celiac disease. Okay. It's not going to make your body not respond to wheat that way. So, I've had that conversation before, and it's mainly because people equate food allergies with anaphylaxis. So it's very important that I educate them and let them know, hey, listen, my allergies manifest differently. And it's basically, I have no control of it. Okay, I didn't determine that, milk was going to cause me pain or soy was going to give me massive headaches. It's just how my body responds. It's the transmitters that the body sends out, and just where they lay. You know, an allergic response is basically just inflammation, not just inflammation, but it's inflammation in your body. And that inflammation can present itself in a whole bunch of different ways. So, explaining that to people and getting them to understand, hey, I might not just have anaphylaxis. Now, even though dairy causes me pain and headaches and things like that, it doesn't mean that it can't cause me an anaphylactic reaction, because it can. Okay, and that's with any allergy. It may manifest commonly a certain way, but it doesn't mean that it will never be anaphylaxis. I think a lot of people get comfortable with that. I get comfortable with that. It can. That's why, even though you may experience pain from your allergies, your doctor's still going to give you an EpiPen, because they know that you can still have an anaphylactic reaction. So, letting them know what my allergies are, letting them know the different ways they can manifest, and then educating them on how to use an EpiPen. Listen, you can't roll with me if you don't know how to use an EpiPen. I'm sorry, it is what it is. And not just my best friends, but even prior to 2019, when I was working in the office, it was like a bullpen situation. I was working in a hospital, in a call center, and the people around me, I educated them on how to use an EpiPen. I told them exactly where it was, and I showed them all how to use it, because, again, I had to create advocates for myself. So, before I get ready to go out, I tell people, number one, where I'm going. I only go out with certain people. Now, if I'm going to someone's house and I know that person, I make sure, number one, before I go, I'll be like, hey, just want to send you another list of my allergies. Make sure they have that. And when I get there, I let them know, where my emergency bag is. And also the people that I'm with. My best friend Stephanie, first thing out her mouth when we get ready to go somewhere, where your bag? Where your bag at, girl? So she knows where my bag is. She knows how to use the EpiPen. And Stephanie is a different type of friend, because, I mean, we're kind of like sisters. It's amazing how much alike we are. But Stephanie will test my food. She will taste my food. If she smells something, we go to a restaurant, and we usually go to, like, the same types of restaurants. She's gonna smell it. And if it comes to the table and it's not smelling right, she'll be like, hold on, let me taste that. Make sure there's nothing in it that can hurt you. So I love her to death. But yeah. Educate. And I'm gonna say this. When I started educating people and showing them different things, and creating that advocacy and empowering them, I actually had a better relationship with them, honestly. Everybody, I did not get a negative response. I was afraid to do this. I'm not gonna lie, because I thought people were gonna be, acting, act funny or be negative or say, oh, she thinks this is all about her. All the different things that we think in our mind that are not true, that we kind of make up. So all the negative things came into my mind. But the only response that I got from my friends and family that I've educated is thank you. That's it. I haven't gotten anything other than thank you. Thank you for educating me, and empowering me. My friend Andrea said that to me. She said, "You're empowering me to help you," and that's a compliment, right? That's a compliment. And your friends and your family, they do want to help you, and they want to be empowered, and in educating them does that. So, before I get into what's in my bag, let me tell you guys something. I have multiple bags. I have a lot of bags here, and I got some of them here. This is just like a couple of them that I have. This is the one, this is my main bag. It's just a little bag. When I buy purses, I try to buy purses that have these little bags already in them so that I can match my emergency kit with my purse. I know. Listen. It's the little things sometimes. So this is like my go-to, one of my go-to purses. This bag that right here, it came from one of my go-to purses that I commonly carry. And it's a really cute olive green. It can actually go with brown or black or whatever. But yeah, this is the main one that I use. I also have these clear bags. You can get these like anywhere if I'm traveling or something. But if I, can't find one of these other bags, I'll use one of these. This is another bag that I use. I did have another one of these. There's a smaller one. This is a Nautica bag, but I take this with me when I go hiking and camping and stuff. I like to do outdoor stuff, especially in the fall. I really love. This is a really good day to go hiking. But this one is water resistant, and I take this hiking with me. So this one. This is the bag that I used to have in my desk drawer at work. So like I said, I educated all of my friends, all of my coworkers that were around me, where my EpiPen was, how to use the EpiPen, and I always kept it in this bag, and it's EpiPen yellow. So they knew where this was at all times. So that's when I say bag, that's basically what I'm talking about. But let me show you this one. This bag actually goes with this purse. Now, so when I say emergency bag, again, it's just like, think of it like when you're packing your makeup bag. I pack my emergency kit. And it may seem weird to have all of these bags, but let me tell you something. You don't have to have all these different types of bags. The reason why I have all these different types of bags, number one, because I like to match things, whatever. That's just me. But number two, it helps me to keep inventory. So what I used to do, I had a couple of these, but I would have a bag like this, right? Just one color. And every time I changed the purse, I would just take this bag and put it in the next purse. Well, the problem with that is I was never checking this bag to see what was in it. So it was a couple times actually, but the last time, I had a reaction, and I thought I was okay because I had my bag. So when I went into the bag to kind of, to get medication to help me out, I didn't have it. The only thing that was in here, and I didn't have an EpiPen at the time, let me tell you, okay? Let me say this, because I've heard or seen, especially on social media, people shame someone for not having an EpiPen. There are a lot of reasons why people don't have EpiPens. The two main reasons is it's not in stock, which is crazy because you can get a Narcan at a freaking library, but everybody that needs an EpiPen can't get one. Whole different conversation. Or finances, right? Some insurance companies still do not cover an EpiPen. And if they do cover it, they only cover a portion of it, which is still, EpiPen can be anywhere from $350 and up. So it could be a lot of money, and some people can't afford it. In my case, it didn't have any in stock when my doctor put in the order for it, and I had already used my last one. So They didn't have any in stock. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I actually went 8 months without an EpiPen. So I'm waiting for this EpiPen. My doctor had to keep, resending the order. They didn't have it in stock. So when they finally got the EpiPen in stock that she put the order from, which is like the main EpiPen, I think it's Mylan is the name of the company, but it's the actual EpiPen brand. Um, when that came in stock, the pharmacy called me and said, "Hey, we have the EpiPen in stock. However, your insurance no longer covers this manufacturer." Like, for real? You serious? So I said, "Okay, what do they cover?" And they cover the generic brand. So I had to wait until they got the generic brand in stock now. So I think it was an extra 2 weeks I had to wait. So listen, it happens where people don't have their EpiPen. Don't shame them. If you ever find yourself in that situation like I did, I went into my bag and I didn't have what I needed. I just went to the emergency room, okay? Because you might not have an EpiPen, but paramedics do, and so does the hospital. So just get there. Call 911 or get to the hospital. And that's basically what I had to do. And I really didn't even need to go. I didn't need to go. I just didn't have any medication. Now, even though, our allergies manifest differently, and, it could be pain or osteitis, whatever, you can still use your EpiPen because it's still an allergic response. A lot of us don't like to do that because they're expensive and we don't want to waste it unless we're having like a serious reaction or we don't have anything else to do. We don't have any other options. So you can still use it. But in this bag, I had nothing. There was nothing in here. It was just wrappers, empty packaging. It was in here. So I ended up having to go to the hospital. So changing out my bags, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to worry about it because it helps me to keep inventory. So this is the bag that I'm going to be using this weekend and all the way through the new year. This actually is a clutch. It's a clutch bag. And I thought I had the little strap that goes with it. But it has a gold chain and you can actually use it as a clutch. And it came with this purse. And this purse came from my best friend, Stephanie. And when I opened it, this little bag was in here. And I'm like, oh my God, I can use it. And anybody that knows me knows I love silver. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, silver is a neutral color, just like black. You can wear this with anything. I can wear it with jeans, a dress, whatever. But it's my, it's my party bag. So it's really cute. And I love the handles on it. So this is the bag that I'm going to be taking with me to the brunches and the little dinners and the things that I have coming up. So let me show you. Let me show you what I put in here. Okay, so these are all of the things that are going to go into my bag. I know it looks like a lot. Honestly, I'm telling you, it's not. And it is going to fit in here. I'm not going to use all of this. Just parts of it, just what I need to take with me. Okay, so first thing first, I have this little pill organizer. It just has a magnetic close to it. I already have some ibuprofen in here, but what I like to do is take a couple of some of these things and put them in here, and then I label them so that with these little labels here, I know what these are, what's in these little sections. But if someone has to assist me, I want them to know what they're grabbing. So this is ibuprofen. So I use ibuprofen for, in case I get a headache or joint pain or something like that. So I'm just going to put a pain label on here. Okay. And let's just stay with the whole headache theme while we're doing this. All right. So this is meclizine. This is an over-the-counter medication. Now, some of you may have seen this before if you've gone on a cruise ship or something like that. Meclizine helps with dizziness and vertigo. And like I said, I get fog brain and, migraines from certain things. And that will turn into dizziness and vertigo. So meclizine is one of the things, one of the things that I take. Now, again, this is not medical. Let me just say, I am not giving you medical advice. I am not a medical doctor or provider. If you have vertigo or dizziness, before you even take an over-the-counter medication, talk to your doctor about it. My doctor was the one who actually recommended this for me. So that's why I'm taking it. And I'm just going to take 2 tablets in here. Also, I have to keep in mind that meclizine has an antihistamine in it. So if I do take this, I got to remember not to take Benadryl with it because that's just way too much. That's too much. That's too much medication, antihistamines, and it will kind of mess you up there. So I'm going to put that there. That's for dizziness and vertigo. So that's going to go in here. We'll just go ahead and fill in the blanks for this. Another type of reaction. First, let me go ahead and, these are just 2 Benadryl pills. Everybody knows what Benadryl's for. So I'm just going to put these in here. And I think I have, yeah, a Benadryl label. People know what that is. Next thing is nausea. I already labeled the dizzy. So nausea. The meclizine will help with the dizziness and the vertigo and the nausea sometimes, but you know, you got to have something for your belly. You got to have something. I do have a couple of allergens that will cause me to have stomach ache, stomach pain, diarrhea, or constipation, something like that. So I just keep a couple of these in here. I don't need this much, but one of the things, if you know you're a woman or if you're someone who carries a purse, especially a big bag, and you go to an event or you go somewhere, even at work, people know you have a big bag, and the first thing they're going to ask you is if you have something, right? And one of the things they always ask for is, do you have any pain medication or stomach medication? So I usually keep more than that in here just because somebody's going to ask me for it. It just happens. So I'll just go ahead and label that. Okay. And then finally, the last thing that I want to put in here, these, I love these. These are Gin-Gins. Gin-Gins basically are ginger chews, and they're really, really good for, it's just a natural way to help with stomach discomfort, nausea, acid reflux, things like that when your stomach gets to turning. So I keep Gin-Gins in here, and I take those with me. So that's my little pill box, and I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna stick it right in here. All right, so there, it's going right in there, so that'll fit. And then of course I got my EpiPen here. This is a newer EpiPen, well, new to me. I guess this is the generic version of the EpiPen. It's pretty much the same, but it does have a, it's kind of hard to get off of here. Gotta pull it. It's not like the other name brand EpiPen that people are used to seeing. It has 2 caps on it, and the directions are there. It's really easy to use. Just want to, upside down. It tells you pull out both caps. The side with the needle, which is this side here, you want to jam it into the leg, hold it for 10 seconds, and then pull it out. Once the medication has gotten in, go ahead and pull it out. And I'm going to say this too, once you pull it out, call 911. You know, anytime you have to use an EpiPen or if you have to administer an EpiPen to somebody, you definitely want to call 911 afterwards. So EpiPen, she goes, oh, this is so hard to do. She goes right in there. So I got my pill box and my EpiPen. Couple other things I like to put in here. Sorry, alcohol prep wipes. I mean, I'm just that girl. I'm that girl. You know, it's not necessarily to use these when you use your EpiPen, but you never know. You don't know who's giving you something, so I like to keep it in there. Another thing that I like to put in here, you know, keeping with the whole Disney and the vertigo thing, these motion patches. Now, I may not have the wherewithal to take the meclizine, but I always have the wherewithal to pop one of these on my neck. And again, this is over the counter. This does help to kind of stop that dizziness from that brain fog coming in. Slide that in there. This is another thing. This is a migraine stick. You guys notice the theme, headaches. Headaches is one of my biggest manifestations. So I, especially when I'm out, so I like to have as much, you know, as I can. That's going to help me to kind of like combat that because, you know, again, my biggest fear You know, when we're preparing our bag, we want to make sure that we're empowering ourselves and we're eliminating some of the, or hoping to, or minimizing the anxiety that comes with um, having a food aversion, or even packing your bag. Sometimes you can get a little anxious. That's happened to me previously. So knowing that I have, you know, I don't have the whole kitchen sink in here, but I have enough to help me, does help, you know, make me feel better. Okay, so bear with me. You don't have to have all the stuff. This is my arsenal, right? This is what I use. So this is a migraine stick. It's all it is essential oils, and it has different versions of peppermint and spearmint in it. It does help, but it doesn't last long. And basically what I use it for is just to kind of like, you know, if I start to get a headache, just to kind of open up my my airways a little bit, just so I can kind of breathe better. I know it's weird, but it does help. I will say that. Um, but it doesn't last long. So I will use this after I've used some other products. Okay. And then hydration. Talked about hydration before. Let me talk about this. I always keep a cure with me. Um, or a liquid IV, or something like drip drop, something like that. I always keep one of these with me because thing that I notice is after I have a reaction or during a reaction, I do feel dehydrated or I get dry mouth, and this kind of helps me out a little bit. So I'm gonna put that in here as well, and that is also the reason for these, the cough drops. They help with the dry mouth. I'm gonna stick those in there. Okay. Another manifestation of my allergies is a asthma attack. Hasn't happened in a while, but it can happen. So my Ventolin inhaler, this is actually just going to go in my purse. It's not going to fit in here. Also, in Benadryl spray, I like to keep this. This helps with environmental allergies. So if I go into someone's house or I go into a restaurant or whatever, and you know there's something in the air like wheat, for me, if it's too much wheat, I don't necessarily go into anaphylaxis. Sometimes I will get a headache, but I would definitely get that evil contact dermatitis. And if you don't know about contact dermatitis, it's like a rash that's kind of localized. Either it's on your arms or your hands, or sometimes it's on your back. It could be anywhere. But it normally localizes in one area, and it's just your body responding to your skin coming into contact with an allergic protein. So I keep this. And again, this is not going to fit in there. That's just going to go in my bag. And then I also have hand sanitizer. Why? Because it's 2024, about to be 2025, and COVID has not left. I'm gonna see if this girl will fit in there. Will she fit in there? I don't want to crowd my EpiFit. Yes, she will. She will fit in there. So we're gonna go ahead and close her up. And my emergency bag is packed and ready to go. And like I said, here is the purse that's gonna go in here. And she will fit, oops, she will fit right in here. And so will my Benadryl and my Ventolin inhaler. And I have some, you know, have plenty of space to put a little makeup bag in here. Oh, I forgot about these masks. I take these everywhere. I actually have them in my car. Not just for COVID, but again, for environmental allergies. You know, sometimes if I go grocery shopping early in the morning, I will put a mask on because I know that they're baking bread or they just put fresh bread out. And this does help sometimes. So I always keep masks in here. All right, so I got my bag. I'm ready to go. Now for the hard part, figuring out what to wear. Yeah, I got a couple events. It's a couple of outfits. Let me go do that. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.